Well, a brutal 1989 rape case in Hammond, Indiana, put two men in jail. The two men have always maintained their innocence, and their claim has some forensic support. Their DNA did not match the DNA found on the victim. Maureen Maher and 48 Hours has been following the story and takes a look at how new DNA technology blew the case wide open.
On December 7th, 1989, in Lake County, there's been a series of bump rapes and robs occurring. And what that means is you're a single woman driving alone at night, your car gets bumped, and they would grab you, rob you, and sexually assault you. The victim in this case, she's been out that night drinking, she's driving home, and she's bumped. And she gets out of her car, and she's assaulted, taken into another vehicle, and she says raped by 5 men.
But there's a racial component here. The 5 attackers were black, the woman was white.
And it was terrorizing the community, and they wanted arrests at all costs, perhaps.
I had the responsibility. I was a detective lieutenant. I had a free hand. I received no interference from anybody.
Whoever perpetrated this crime were monsters. My next reaction was, can we, as prosecutors, prove beyond reasonable doubt the identity of the persons who perpetrated this crime?
We obtained 2 convictions out of 5 people that raped this girl.
I didn't do it. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I mean, when you heard the word rape,
It sent chills through me. I couldn't believe that my name was being associated with such a crime.
When the judge said 75 years, I'm 38 years old. That's like a death sentence. I'm gonna die in prison for a crime I didn't do. And one night, I hit rock bottom, and I attempted to take my life.
I dreamt of a professor and law students coming to my rescue. I used to see it on TV all the time. Then one day, I said, I got my dream team.
do you believe 100% that these 2 men are innocent?
Yes, absolutely.
100%. Yes.
The more you read the case, you see all the factors leading to wrongful convictions, like jailhouse snitches, ineffective assistance of counsel, junk science.
How confident are you that Daryl Pinkins and Roosevelt Glenn raped that woman?
100%.
No question.
No questions. We had DNA evidence that was taken off her clothing.
What was your first impression when you read the file?
I was confused because the DNA was already done and it excluded both of those men. When it's not you in the DNA, it's not you. Zero, nothing to talk about. And everybody knew it before trial. They had to have known it.
Every night I pray for my son. And the only thing I can do is trust that the Lord will keep him safe so he can come out.
Susan Zirinsky, the senior executive producer of 48 Hours, joins us now. So, Susan, who rode in to the rescue? Was it 48 Hours? Not quite?
Not quite. Yeah. I think the person that really rode into the rescue was a professor from Indiana University named Fran Watson. And she had one of these innocence projects going. Over a 15-year period, hundreds of her students worked on this case. And the other people that really wrote in are DNA experts. There's one called Greg Hampickian from Indiana. You know him, actually, from a story you and I did together for 48, not just you and I, the team.
Everyone, yes.
But this was so disturbing to him that the DNA from the outset said it wasn't them.
Right.
But it was so unreliable, and it was a mixture. So enter science with Fran Watson and Hampickian, and a discovery in 2016 called True Allele technology, and True Allele is able to separate DNA. So if it's a mixture of people,
5 men involved.
There were 5 men, right? So the True Allele is able to extrapolate every individual DNA sample.
Right.
And in the courts, this is what makes the big difference. I don't want to give everything away, but this is what really turns this case around. There was something really fascinating, though. The 2 men, Roosevelt Glenn and Darryl Pinkins, there's something interesting when you do the wrongfully convicted stories. They so believe in their own innocence, and both of them talk about that they thought of committing suicide. But they're not angry men as the process is going forward.
You think they would be livid? They're losing years of your life.
I know. This is what's extraordinary about these 2 men. And one of them, I think it was Roosevelt Glenn, said, I prayed for an angel.
Yes.
And then that becomes Fran Watson.
Yes.
Because, 15 years, hundreds of students, and Greg Hampikian, it's the belief that at some point the right thing will happen. Here's the scary part. The lead detective, retired, still believes they're guilty.
Even without the DNA matching? Even with new DNA that says there's no match at all? There's no way? Wow. Well, that's called something, right? It's sort of like a blindness when you're focused on the outcome of a case and you believe
if I wasn't on television, I might use another word. But yes, indeed. And but this is a case where you'll watch the end, and we've updated. This is a story we've brought before, but there's a dramatic new information, and it's kind of never over. There's always another process, and I think that's what's interesting for us: the commitment to stay with a story. And these are amazing men, and their families have stuck by them, and the kids who've never,
the
some
mother
of the kids, like they can't touch. You go, I think it was one of the 2, I think it's Darryl Pinkins. He's been in jail. He was in jail for 27 years.
So his children, if he had small children, they're adults now.
They're adults now. But the families have stayed with these men, and that's something. That's why I'm really happy we're running this in the family time of year, because it gives people something to hold on to.
Yeah, I love it. I cannot wait for it. When you talk about this new DNA, I thought to myself, well, that means there are 5 suspects out there, and maybe this new DNA might be able to track them down. Like you said, the story keeps going and going. Susan Zirinsky, thank you so much.
We're lucky it's never over.
And you can watch this updated episode of 48 Hours, Guilty Until Proven Innocent, tomorrow night at 10, 9 Central on CBS.